Hello again, everybody. As you might have noticed, a week passed since the last video, so it's time for another weekly recap where I just talk about the things that happened during the past week. So one thing I wanted to say in the beginning, I know the sound quality of these videos is kind of shitty, and I try to work on that, but I think, and it's also very not very loud, but the mic is actually fully turned up, so I will just try to move it a bit closer and talk a bit louder, so hopefully that will resolve the issue at least a little bit. So one of the things that I did during this week is I published a site on my website where I list every social media or place I am currently at, because I noticed I am now pretty much everywhere. So because I'm on YouTube, as you can see, I do Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, obviously, that's the main place I use, but I'm also on Medium now, I am on Anchor, playing around with it. If you don't know it, it's pretty much the social media of audio, and I'm very interested in it right now. We'll probably try more things with it. I publish on SoundCloud, I am a bit on Snapchat. So I listed everything there. I put a link for that site in the description so you can check it out. I usually try to, like, the important things, like for example this video, I try to get everyone notified about it. But I also try to do original content on every of the platforms, so there's a reason why people maybe should want to check out multiple. But it's the reason I do this is, first of all, I want to go at the places people are at. So if you're more like the visual guy, like YouTube is for you. If you're more like the audio guy, you can listen on it on SoundCloud. If you're on Instagram, I'm on there. If you're more the Facebook guy, I'm also on there. So, and also I want to try as many things as possible. First, because I can learn from it, because I think just making videos, just doing podcasts, just recording your audio, just making short videos really trains me, and I can learn about all these different platforms and ways to communicate, so I can get better at them. And also I want to see what works, what doesn't, what people like, what they don't like, what they see, what they don't see, and stuff. So I will put a link for that in the description. Yeah, just check out if there's anything you would want to follow. Then, as I'm still in the process of doing some kind of market research, I go into that in my How to Become a Billionaire video, and I'm basically trying to find a problem I can solve by creating a business. And one of the things I did this week is looking at the Internet Trends Report. Mary Meeker released the new 2017 Internet Trends Report, and it's pretty much the state of the union for the tech industry. And for me, the three biggest things I took from it were that machine learning is big. So machine learning meaning AI, and you see it in pretty much all the big companies, Google, Facebook, Apple, they all do it, and it means that like algorithms see how you behave, and like the ads you see, the recommendations you get are all based on your previous behavior. So the machine learns how you behave, and yeah, the content it provides is based on that. So the music recommendations on Spotify, or the recommended articles on Amazon, or like the ads you see on Google are all based on how you previously behaved on the internet, and that will probably become much more. So that's one thing. The second thing I took from it is that smart anything. So maybe you've noticed, but there are now much more than only smartphones and maybe smart watches. You can now get pretty much smart anything. There are smart shoes, there are smart lights, there are smart kitchenware like freezers, there are like smart skateboards and stuff, smart backpacks. So anything gets kind of smart, and that will become much more. And then a third thing is that voice is big, or is becoming bigger. So for example, Anchor, the social media of voice, is getting bigger. People are listening to podcasts and ebooks, audiobooks, I mean. Now 20% of all searches done on Google are made through voice. So yeah, Google voice search. Voice messages on WhatsApp or whatever are getting more and more. So that's a trend that's moving. And I would say all these three things have in common that they save time. So whether it's your watch telling you it's time for your next workout, or whether it's like recommendations and you don't have to look through all the internet, but it recommends you the stuff you actually want. And like voice messages are much smarter than typing it, so it all saves time. And I think that's one of the big trends. And it's not a big trend, a new trend, I mean, because people always valued their time very high, and so whenever there's something that you can buy or get that will save you time over time, then you will get it. So that is the main thing I took from the internet report. And then the last big thing I did was I started to go out again and talk to random people on the street. And I kind of like, this is something I talked about in my How to Become a Billionaire, and that I wanted to do that and do some kind of market research and talk to people and learn from people. But I started to do it less, and I think that is because I made excuses why I don't have to do it, because I think it's something that doesn't come naturally to me, like talking to random people on the street. So I kind of stopped it, and now I decided I do it more. So the last 3 days I basically spend all day talking to as many people as possible, and I can say that it's pretty much the best thing I ever did, and that's for multiple reasons. First off, I obviously get the answers to the questions I ask, and I ask like, how do they spend their time, what do they like, what do they don't like, so it gives me a general idea of what people want. But also just going out there, approaching people randomly, talking to them, leading the conversation, I think that's a big thing I'm learning also. And I think communication in general is a very important skill for pretty much everything you want to accomplish, but very important for me. And so I learned that. And also I get a lot of feedback on how I come across, how others perceive me. So I also learn a lot about myself. So the last question I usually ask is, what did they first think when I approached them? Did they think I wanted to sell them something, or I wanted something from them, or that it was weird or creepy or whatever, or awkward? And so I learn a lot from that, and how I come across and how I can adapt so people are more willing to talk to me. Like if I should introduce myself, what words I should use, if I should what's the difference between like approaching them from the front or from the side or something. That's a big difference. And so I'm learning a lot about myself. And also I'm pretty much probably getting more sun than ever. Well, maybe more than since the last holiday. And I also got some kind of sunburn, but that's fine. So I definitely decided to do that more. But I will combine it with the other research I do, so looking at top sellers on Amazon, on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, top Google searches, top apps in the App Store, because I think it's very interesting what I then can do. Like I can see, okay, this is popular in the App Store, and then I can go out and ask people, hey, do you know that? Have you heard of that? What do you think about that? Do you like it? Do you don't like it? And yeah, so I can get immediate feedback, so I want to combine these two. And yeah, also because I want to improve my communication skills and approaching people, and because I think that's very powerful. And I thought I would probably want to document it more on Anchor, so I will thought of maybe after every interview I do a review on Anchor, where I just talk about the biggest things, like what they said, new ideas that came up, reflections, thoughts, and whatever. Yeah, doing more with Anchor probably. And yeah, I think that's it. I met a lot of interesting people. For example, I've met the founder of chinahandys.net. That's actually a website that reviews phone, and that's actually the website I found the phone I'm currently using. And I got in contact with him, and he said he wants to meet because he really likes the idea of me just talking to random people and seeing if to find a problem I can solve. So that's kind of cool, and there are a lot of more interesting people I met, and I talk about that more on Instagram, and I will on Anchor. So if you are interested in that, you should definitely follow me there, and you can again check that out in the first link I post. And yeah, that's basically it. You should subscribe also to this YouTube. I think it's here, but I'm not sure. And then we will see ourselves at the latest in the next video next week. Bye.